Where is Hashem? A Dvar Torah for Parashat Chayey. One of the songs I grew up with was a song about Hashem's presence everywhere. The obvious need for such a song is a difficulty that, according to the Psukim, Avraham Avinu did not really need to deal with. Such a song is unnecessary for people who, like Avraham, see Hashem all the time. To prove my point, let's play a little game that I call Where in the World is Hashem? As soon as Avraham strikes out on his own, Hashem is his constant companion. There is not a story in which he doesn't make an appearance. He's mentioned 6 times when sending him to an unknown land, shows up in Pharaoh's house to save Sarah from abduction in Egypt, and Avraham shows him gratitude upon returning to Eretz Canaan. Upon Lot's departure, he re-promises Avraham the land. Avraham swears by him after beating the 4 kings. In Brit Bein Habtarim, they have a long discussion. His name is invoked by Sarah when she decides to give Avraham her maid, and he visits her when she runs away. Avraham gets another visit when he's told to circumcise himself and gets a few more promises. He visits Avraham before 3 mysterious men show up on his doorstep to promise a son, and then Avraham engages Hashem in some moral barter in favor of Sedom. Avraham watches the destruction of Sedom from the place of their last discussion. He saves Sarah again, this time from Avimelech. He gives Avraham and Sarah a son at the ripe old age of 190, and encourages Avraham to listen to Sarah and expel Hagar and Yishmael. Perek is the Aqida, which is all about what Hashem tells Avraham, leading to the final chapter of Avraham's life when he buries Sarah. The reason I stop here is that from this point onwards, Avraham is no longer the main character. Yitzchak is. Even in the stories where Avraham appears, he's working on behalf of his son. The reason I didn't mention Hashem's presence during Sarah's burial is because, for some reason, his name doesn't show up. Throughout the entire story of Sarah's burial, Hashem doesn't appear once. And the one time that the name Elokim appears is when the people of Hebron tell him that he's a Nasi Elokim. Where'd he disappear to? To further emphasize my point, I'd like to point out that Sarah's death could be considered the most tragic point of Avraham's life. Throughout his life, Avraham has one human companion who's there with him the entire time, his wife Sarah. He leaves his family and friends behind. Lot chooses to go his separate ways. Most of his life he's barren. He has no companions except for his wife and Hashem. Why does Hashem leave him at this most difficult of times? I haven't found many commentators who discuss this issue, but I might have managed to pick up some insights from what they said. Rabbeinu Yonah Girondi emphasizes my question by claiming that Sarah's death and the need to pay for her burial after receiving a promise that the land will be his was the last of the 10 trials that Hashem posed to Avraham. Rabbeinu Yonah disagrees with the Rambam, who claims that the trials end with the Aqida in the previous Perek, but he does base his commentary on the Gemara in Baba Batra. Ibn Ezra doesn't refer to the question directly, but did say that the entire purpose of the story was to show that Hashem kept his promise and gave Avraham property in Eretz Yisrael. Maybe the Torah saw no need to mention Hashem's name in a chapter because his presence is so obvious. Rashar Hirsch makes a point of showing that Sarah's burial strengthens familial ties on many levels. He brings the midrash that Me'arat HaMachpelah was where Adam and Chava were buried, and where Yitzchak and Yaakov will be buried with their wives, linking the past and the future to the family and to the present. He then continues to show that Hebron, where Me'arat HaMachpelah is located, comes from the word chaver, friend. Buying this specific burial plot shows the deep love and affection our patriarchs and matriarchs really had for each other. Moving back to our question, it might be that Hashem is giving Avraham some intimate family time to mourn for his beloved one and unite with his family. Do not comfort your friend when his dead is lying before him. And with God even more so, if God's presence is here, who could really mourn? Finally, and I can blame no one for this thought but myself, the Torah might be teaching us that Hashem chooses to sanctify life, which is where he reveals his name. This might come as a shock to those who think that religion is at its best when saying Kaddish over the deceased, but here you have it. Where is Hashem's presence best seen? Where there are living people who can see it. This could also explain the name of the Parashat, Chayey, not her death. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. Or you can buy my book. There's a link below. I am Dovi Holtz, one who loves life and Tanakh.